We'll say good morning. This is Thursday, November 12th, and this is Roatan Weather's Tropical Outlook. Of course, all our outlooks right now involve looking at Invest 98L and trying to figure out what it's going to do. Good agreement that it will become tropical storm and probably Hurricane Iota. Um, Headlines this morning are we got some scenarios where it kind of speeds up and gets here on Monday, and some scenarios where it slows down and stays out in the Caribbean for a little while, and also a scenario that's kind of, you might say, a worst case scenario for us, even though it doesn't look to be as strong in that scenario, but as far as its positioning and how close it comes to us. Well, we're looking at what we call the ECM WRF. This is one of the more go-to European models. I'll stop it right here. And this one speeds it up and gets it near us on Monday. So that's one of the headlines, is the potential of this actually being a Monday event. You notice here the strongest winds right around the 60 knot or 70 mile an hour range, so a borderline hurricane at this point, coming onshore at noon London time, so that'd be about 6 o'clock in the morning our time. So that would definitely be much quicker than we were kind of expecting a Tuesday event. This scenario keeps us on the north side with winds in that 35 mile per hour range, perhaps gusting to 40 or 45. And then going onshore onto the mainland of Honduras. And this gives us the view of the potential satellite image. And you see it coming ashore there and then kind of breaking up over land, but not without dropping a lot of rain. On Tuesday, this would be a big rain event for the mainland and bring them potentially another 15 to 20 inches of rain on top of what they had last week, and us another 10 to 15 inches. I wanted to show you kind of the potential for strengthening. One of the things you may remember that Iota did as it approached landfall in Puerto Cabezas is it's rapidly intensified, close to a Category 4 storm. I don't think it ever quite exactly got to Category 4, but it was definitely a high Category 3. So you notice this shows it intensifying rapidly and coming ashore, very similar to the other model in Puerto Lempira on the far eastern coast of Honduras. And as a 962 millibars, that's Category 2, Category 3 territory as far as strength goes. And then a very similar track it shows to the previous model we were looking at, the ECM WRF. But there are other potential tracks, and this one is one most worrisome to us. This is the Canadian model, and as we go through here, you notice how it comes across the north coast of Honduras. One of the things that protects us from really bad hurricanes is this landmass right here. Like we saw with Iota, because there's all this land here, we usually don't get the strongest brunt of a hurricane because it usually weakens over land. It would have to take a very unusual route to come towards us. Lots of people here talk about Mitch, and you notice the route that one took, it rapidly intensified into a Category 5 and then came south over the islands, and this really is a very worst case scenario for the islands. This one doesn't look to be that bad because you notice the Canadian model shows it hugging the kind of shallower waters off the coast of Honduras, so that would possibly keep it from becoming a rapidly intensifying storm. This is more or less a Category 1 hurricane or even just a tropical storm. But this scenario, if it were to come up south of us, would potentially bring some storm surge and perhaps some decent storm surge on the south side of the island. So this track is definitely one to watch. There's also the potential for some stalling here. And this is the ICON model, German model that's very well respected. And as we go through here, you notice it shows a ridge of high pressure coming down off the United States. This is the kind of cold front that brings cool weather to the south, and sometimes in the wintertime can bring us northerly winds. And this is expecting it to interact with the storm and kind of push it back a little bit. So you notice as the high-level ridge comes down from the North America. It interacts with the storm and pushes it back, and we're talking into the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week time period. This storm spinning out here in the Caribbean, which also probably wouldn't be good for mainland Honduras because storms in this whole time period would be thrown off, and this might actually increase the rain totals for the mainland. I also wanted to show you a Korean model that kind of picks up on this idea of these northerly winds pushing the storm back. In this scenario, it kind of gets knocked back and then keeps coming west over us. So again, not a great scenario for us. This is an ensemble model of the tracks. You notice many of them come right over us. And these are the tracks of the models used by the National Hurricane Center. You notice most of them have this general idea of coming online Puerto Cabeza, coming to our south, or I'm sorry, Puerto Lempira. But some of the northerly models in this ensemble do come right over us, potentially as a Category 1 hurricane. So some news, most of it I guess not so good for us, but similar track to Eta. Watch for rapid intensification as it nears the coastline here. Also watch for the potential of this ridge from the North America pushing it back a little bit and perhaps delaying it, but this could come onshore Monday morning at the earliest. All right, so keep your eyes out and we'll watch for you.